If you had to speculate, what does the term toxic masculinity mean? What would you think?
It's a man who's...
No, you're close. When you say man, say all men.
All men.
And go from there.
All men
are horrible.
Yeah.
All men basically
have some flaws.
I don't want to get to the end because I don't want to get ahead of myself. For some time, Stephen Hicks, for example, if you had to describe someone as in the leftist definition of toxic masculinity, a guy who has maybe a 1950s or 60s or even 70s sense of what a man should be, sort of that John Wayne, it's that guy, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Why are you pointing at me?
Because that's what you are. You really are sort of an old soul. You think you have a very 1950s or 60s sense of manhood. For some time, Stephen Hicks felt like something was awry. My relationship ended. Then a lot of things started to collapse in front of me. He began to attend therapy, which made him realize that he needed to make bigger changes. He says, I wasn't really doing terrible things, but I wasn't being the most ideal Stephen I could be. The bar, you know, is really lowered for cisgender guys. You know what cisgender in this sense means?
No.
Someone who identifies as the traditional male or female.
Okay.
See, it's not even man or woman anymore.
Okay.
It's cisgender.
Oh, thanks. That's what we are?
So earlier this year, Hicks signed up for a class called Rethink Masculinity, a partnership between the Washington, D.C. Rape Crisis Center, Collective Action for Safe Space, and Rethink, an organization that works to prevent sexual assault. Now, you've known me for 20 years.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Do you think that at any level I could be a sexual predator or a...
No.
Okay.
Not a chance.
The way you heard this guy talking...
Everybody could be.
Isn't it? Yes.
Every man could be a predator.
You are a man, hence you are a rapist. Isn't that basically what this is about? The program. See?
No.
Yeah.
Well, I'm reading about this, the definition, and I'm ready to just rip things apart.
Oh boy.
The program bills itself as a class where, quoting now,
See, you're a predator, Matt.
men learn how social constructs of masculinity harm them, as well as the people around them.
So stupid, Robert.
And they work to construct healthier masculinities, described as 8 weeks of men discussing how they can address their actions with better self-awareness and less toxicity. The goal, proponents say, is to help men examine their own biases and behaviors in order to cut down on their inbred misogyny and gender-based violence. One more.
Inbred misogyny?
The course also discusses the concepts of toxic masculinity, including suppression of anything stereotypically feminine, because, you know, we're all girls dying to get out. Suppression of anything stereotypically feminine. But if you assume that, don't you assume that masculinity, i.e. men by their nature, are evil? And this is what this does. Suppression of anything stereotypically feminine, suppression of emotions related to vulnerability like fear, sadness, or helplessness, and male domination over women and aggression. Am I going too far to assume, and you tell me, because you go to classes like this.
Yeah.
Does this assume that all men are rapists? Or at least...
all men are predators.
All men are rapists waiting to happen, that we're all Harvey Weinstein, and if you're a man and you haven't assaulted or raped a woman so far that it's only a matter of time...
the clock is ticking.
And the fact that you haven't done anything about it yet, what's the Tom Cruise movie Minority Report? What's it called?
It is called Pre-Crime.
Pre-Crime in Minority... It's a Steven Spielberg movie. Minority Report with Tom Cruise, and they do these psychological studies, and they assume from these studies that you are guilty, will be guilty in the future of a crime, and they imprison you now so that the crime never exists.
This is so stupid.
Doesn't this assume that all men everywhere, toxic masculinity, are really rapists waiting to happen, that we're all guilty at least of pre-crime and should most likely be jailed right now?
God, that is so dumb.
You okay over there, kid?
No, I didn't even get to explode. You were talking too much. I'm going to yell at you during the commercial.